What's up, guys? Here we are today on this fine October 28th as we get ready to go through the NHL's Frozen Frenzy. Last year, I will admit, was rough, very brutal. The teams between the two would normally only give up about 3.5 goals in total. It was not very good in terms of any of the overs in betting categories. Rough, very rough. But I'm here to tell you today, it does not look any better. It doesn't look any better. A lot of these matchups, take a look on the screen right here. You can find your guys that you want to attack in the way of, are their teams playing on a back-to-back? Are they running their backup goalie? Are they missing key players on their top six? Just things that you can kind of pick out and choose immediately. And there's really not a lot of that since there's only 4 teams that played yesterday, and they're all kind of booty anyway. So like you got Pittsburgh first and foremost up at 6 p.m. Eastern time. They will be going against Philadelphia. That's going to feature Artur Shilovs for Pittsburgh, who's been very good this year. Was not good with Vancouver last year, but he has really turned a new leaf. Been brilliant this year against Samuel Ersson. He is not very good. He's barely backing up Dan Vladar, and Dan Vladar, by all accounts, he's been pretty stellar himself. Philadelphia, they made a lot of good adjustments from last year. Traded one of their better players in order to make room for some of their younger guys to come up, and it's really paid off. They've not been getting creamed. They've been keeping pace pretty well. Had a couple key victories early on. I like their pace. This game, you got terrible defense against terrible offense. Toronto without Mitch Marner has been atrocious. They just can't find it. They had to break up the line of John Tavares and William Nylander in order to move up Nylander with Austin Matthews, because Austin Matthews just cannot seem to generate. So that game has just been probably avoiding. This game, though, has my attention. Josh and I will be in attendance for this game tonight, and boy, we are excited. A lot to talk about here. I will be constructing an on-stream same-game parlay for this game specifically, and I'm going to hit the submit button while we're on stream. So we're going to put this one together. This game right here features 2 of the better goalies on their teams. They're going to be facing off with each other. Both teams haven't been doing really a lot of scoring, with the exception of a couple random blow-up games, which is perfectly normal in the NHL anyway. I expect a lot of shots to be done here. There's a few props that we'll go through that I really like between these two teams just for shots. But points can be kind of hard to come by because you never really know, are they actually going to show up offensively? Are they going to get on the board? Going to stay away from this game. They're missing Marchand tonight, who's been their top goal scorer, and he's out to some personal matter. I don't know all the full details on that, but he will not be playing. In Anaheim, while even better, they have not been great on offense, so I'm not going to place currency on a team where they may score a couple. So to me, it's just not worth it. This is going to be one of our focal points that we are going to attack. Boston did not look good at all yesterday. Thank God for Morgan Geekie saving the night for us. He had their own goal. He had a quick takeaway and a snipe that really started off the night well, and then Boston, until the last 10 seconds of the game, didn't even score their second goal, and they got completely routed by Ottawa. The Islanders have been really put together a pretty good year. They've got an up-and-coming player in Matthew Schaefer, strong defenseman, good offensively, doing a lot of good things. So really like this one right here against the tired Boston team, with also a backup goalie, and that's been one of the worst according to GSAAX. So definitely going to attack that. Not much to look at here. Tampa Bay, they're in a slump. In Nashville, they're just kind of mid. They're definitely better than last year. Nashville has definitely been better. But I think this will be a pretty competitive game between the two of them. I think Tampa Bay will probably sneak it out since they have a little bit more firepower. But, nothing really that sticks out to me like, oh, this is ladder capability here. Winnipeg versus Minnesota. Both teams have, well, first and foremost, Winnipeg without Ehlers on the power play has definitely been noticeable. They're still one of the top 10 power plays in the league, but they're just missing it. 5v5 has not been great. It's been enough. They're still winning games, but it's been enough. But they just don't look quite, they don't pack quite the punch that they did last year, at least to start the year. Minnesota, they are absolutely atrocious in 5v5 currently. I think they currently stand with, I could have misread this, but 3 total 5v5 goals through 9 games. I mean, it's insane. And every other goal they scored has all come on the power play. All of it. Or the man advantage, 2-man advantage. They just can't score 5v5. And to me, I can't put my currency on something like that where, I have to just expect, the other team to become undisciplined in order for me to even have an opportunity to, hit a prop. I'm just going to stay away from that. Detroit, they've been shifting around their lines quite a bit because Patrick Kane, who normally rides line 2 with DeBrincat and Marco Kasper centering, he's still been out, but they moved Lucas Raymond from line 2 back up to line 1 with Dylan Larkin centering and Emmett Finney on his left wing. I really like that look against a St. Louis team that just got waxed, and I do mean waxed, yesterday by Pittsburgh Penguins, who've been really good to start the year. They've been pretty good. They're old guys really leading the way. Evgeny Malkin, he's leading the league in assists currently at 39. So, I mean, good for him. Definitely staying away from this game. This is an under game right here. You got Jake Ottinger, who hasn't been extremely sharp, but he's been good enough, against Logan Thompson, who's definitely been one of the better goalies in the league. It's going to be best on best here. Dallas at home doesn't really give up a whole lot. In Washington, they've not been the same looking, since they lost a few players to free agency. It's probably going to stay away from that game as a whole. Ottawa just played yesterday. They played brilliantly. But now they have Linus Ullmark, and he has been statistically a bottom 3 goalie from the start of the year. I mean, he has just been bad. Very bad. Chicago at home, I do like them. They've been a little more consistent this year. I do think that there's definitely some meat on the bone that we can target here for this game. So that's gonna be one of our plays. We're gonna be diving into that. Definitely staying away from this one. Colorado, New Jersey, low scoring affair. You got Wedgwood in the net. He did get pieced up a little bit last game. Had to bring in Trent Miner. It was the first time he really got pieced up. I mean, everybody has a bad night, but by all statistics, he's been very good. Jacob Markstrom back in the net for New Jersey. He's technically speaking their number 1 goalie. So I think this could also be a shots game. I do like our GOAT McKinnon for at least 4 shots tonight. So that could be something that we also take a look into. But it's also really hard to gain value on something like that. Where the whole world will practically be like, oh, New Jersey, tough defensive team, take his shots. So we'll take a look at it a little bit deeper, see if there's any value to be had in this one, but probably going to stay away from this one too. This is going to be a curious game. Normally, Utah and Edmonton, they've been higher scoring. Edmonton typically giving up about 3.5 goals per game. It doesn't matter who you put in the net. They've got Stuart Skinner, who, I mean, Jekyll and Hyde, you have no idea what you're going to get out of him on a nightly basis. I mean, he's capable of shutting you out, or he's capable of getting run out of the building. So could go either way. We're going against Vamelka, who's the absolute workhorse for Utah in the crease. He's been very good, very consistent to start the year. Hasn't really had a blow-up game. Been doing very well. We could have a few things to look at here. Banned. Not a chance. Not touching them. Don't ask me. Not happening. Just no. And Quinn Hughes was just ruled out as well. I'm not touching that. I mean, they can score 50 goals between them, and I don't care. I just can't do it. I do not really like this one. You're going to have Jakub Dobiš, who has been statistically the best goalie in the league, out of nowhere. I mean, technically speaking, he's the number 2 goalie on his own team, making half the money that Sam Montembeault is, but he's been outplaying him by a mile. And he'll be seeing Seattle's Joey Decord, who has been playing out of his mind. I mean, he shut out the Winnipeg Jets in their own house. So, I mean, he's very capable of being consistent. I mean, he may let up about 2 goals a game. Let's take a look real quick. Seattle. Decord, yeah. He's allowing almost 2.7 above expected for the entirety of the year. So, yeah, goal save above expected. He's in the plus. And that's what you really look to see. This number right here. He's been good. So I'm probably going to leave that game alone. And this one has my attention right here. The LA Kings, who have been better scoring this year. Typically, they only average about 3 goals a game. Now they're averaging 4.5, which has been a tremendous jump. But for a team that was the number 1 in shot suppression last year, now they are one of the worst in shot suppression. The change has been completely shocking. Their goaltending has not been as sharp. You know, a lot of the guys are older, older, 30s and above. Can't even believe I'm saying that's old. But yeah, and they're going against the worst defensive metric team by a mile in San Jose. But they've also been scoring some goals. I do like this game to go over, and I do like the fact that the line 1 for LA, the gang is back. So you got the 3 A's, Andrei Kuzmenko, Adrian Kempe, and Anze Kopitar. They're all back. Kopitar back from injury, good to go, 100%, and I really do like the combination. So without further ado, I'm going to reveal the ladder for points that long shot, mind you. Excuse me, long shot that we're going to be playing. And this was something that we looked at in, okay, let's check the matchup. Let's check a little bit of the history. Let's go, how have they been doing? And what's really key about a lot of this is the value. Because if you want to ladder something, I mean, I don't want to look to ladder, an Austin Matthews minus 300 point. Like, what is that going to get me? You're really not winning, even if you walk, even if, say, he does get his 1 point at minus 300 value. What are you gaining from that? You're willing to put currency against the fact of a minus 300. You add another, something similar, minus 285, and you're not even doubling your money. It's not a long-term profitable play. So you look to the guys who are around him, his line mates, who does he play on the power play with. So it's just things that you really got to take into consideration whenever you pick these, ladders to go long. This is what we're rolling with right here. Let's take a look. I chose Andrei Kuzmenko, and while his numbers may not dazzle you at face value, a lot of these were without Anze Kopitar during the course of this little stint right here. So Kuzmenko has had a point in 14 out of his last 15 against San Jose. And keep in mind, the value is insane. He rides power play 1, and he's on their top line. And his point is going for minus 130 right now. Relatively close to even money. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but Adrian Kempe, their right wing, on top line, power play 1, relatively similar position, minus 280. So while he does get a few more opportunities, let's say between like overtime and empty net situations, I think I trust the in-between game of not only just the 5v5 ability of this line and the chemistry that they have, but just the experience in its totality of, like, look, you got a guy that's projected minus 280 to get a point, and his head-to-head, he's 50%. He's hit his last 2 in a row, and this is recent, just from last year. And you go and you find Kuzmenko. This is only from last year's data. It doesn't have from a while ago, so I had to dig that up. But he had 3 points. So he knows them very well. They know how they're going to attack them. And you got to take a look at what San Jose's defense has been giving up the most to in terms of like positional value. He's a left winger. The points, they give up the 3rd worst in the league for the left wing. Right wing, where obviously Kempe is playing, they give up the worst. The actual statistical worst. Most goals, 2nd most assists per game, and points. This is not even including the power play. This is just base. Power play, giving up. They don't even allow a lot of shots. I mean, it's just, this tells me that the power plays normally don't last very long. They pick their spot and that's it. Game over. Shorthanded, you can't really do much at this. I mean, unless you're the Carolina Hurricanes, you know, where you can absolutely, you know, just really flip the game on its face by your defensive ability. I don't really look too much into this. Even strength, this is what you want right here. Now, you can't bank everything you're doing on the power play. The power play is, you know, very strong aspect of it. You know, especially for one, a undisciplined team in San Jose that's already going to give you opportunities to begin with. You know, they average about 3 penalties per game. And you give the Kings, they have a solid power play. You give them 3 opportunities to put it behind the net. I mean, with these numbers, they're going to get one. And I'm pretty sure that this guy right here is going to have an opportunity to put it in. He's normally the net front guy. He's just very involved. Like I said, great chemistry with, you know, Kopitar specifically. And I really like the value for that play tonight. You can take a look at Kopitar. His points going for 180. So, like I said, really for the value, I do like it for a ladder ability. We're going to take him to 2+. Let's go to Josh's pick of Lucas Raymond, which, like I explained earlier, they're doing a little bit of line shifting since Patrick Kane wasn't playing. They moved him back to line 2 to help bolster that line since they weren't getting a lot of help. But this is the concerning aspect of it right here, like really concerning, is St. Louis, they just played yesterday. They got beat up. Now they've got their main of the 2 goalies in, but he hasn't been very good either. So, and we'll take a look at that. St. Louis. Yeah, Bennington has not been good either. Goals save above expected, he's in the negative. And Hofer, don't even get me started on him. He's awful. But, and this is what you really want to look at. I mean, just bad. Goals allowed above expected. Just been not very good. Not very good at all. So, on a team on a back-to-back who's probably not looking in the realm of protecting their goalie very well, I do like the fact that, you know, Raymond and Larkin, they have brilliant value together. I mean, that is quite the pair. I do like, and these were the past couple games they bumped him back to line 2. It didn't work out very well for him, but now that he's back on line 1, this is line 1 here that we're looking at. This is the concerning part. You know, like anything, you're going to see a red 0 for 3, and this was last year each time. He hasn't hit yet. But there's also been a lot of pieces to move in the meantime. So I wouldn't concern myself too much from just head-to-head data. Yeah, it's a pretty good indicator on, okay, you know, how does a guy sit, you know, strictly history-wise against this team? This is not the same team. This team last year was pretty mid defensively, but they were in the upper third of defensive metrics in general. Like, they allow an average amount of shots. They just can't stop anything. They just can't. I mean, my goodness. I mean, and this is just a right wing category. I mean, they are bottom 5 in everything. And look at that. They don't even allow a lot of shots. They just can't stop anything. So, to me, when you get a guy of, Lucas Raymond's caliber, who's normally, especially at home, he's a dog at home. I mean, he averaged, a point in over 80% of his games at home. But when you get the positional value of, hey, this guy's minus 150 and he's normally close to, if not exceeding, minus 200 in value against this kind of team, you got to take a stab at it. That's good value. Regardless of what may happen tonight, you got to take a look at it. And one of their best defenders, players, and penalty killers, and just best players on the team in general, and Robert Thomas is not playing. That is huge. Huge. Detroit had one of the best power plays last year. They haven't seen a crazy amount of opportunity this year on their power play. And it's been a little bit of a different look without Patrick Kane on there. Obviously, Patrick Kane brings a lot to your team, especially in terms of, just his ability to really put the puck in the net and, playmaking ability. But you got to take a stab at it. Got to take a stab. Especially when, for the entirety of it, they all rank in the bottom 5. Power play, mid. Still not allowing a whole lot of shots. So mid. But I mean, even strength. I mean, they can't. There's just a cohesiveness that it's just missing. Something's missing. And to me, that's worth attacking. So that's why we're going to go Andrei Kuzmenko for his value on that top line, power play 1. He does play overtime as well. Empty net, he's not really, out there looking, but, I do think that he'll get his 5v5 points. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. Then you have Lucas Raymond, who was line 2, bump back up to line 1. He's going to be seeing, obviously, the power play 1 time. I think there's a lot of value there against the team that just played last night and, got their lunch 8 in front of them. So let's go ahead and lock it in, baby. No, I'm not filling that out. Okay. NHL. Points. Not looking at anybody here. It's kind of dumb though. I wish there was like a search bar like you get on your phone. Here we go. Lucas Raymond for a point. Oh, he's even better on here. He's minus 154 on Prop Finder. Okay. I think Kuzmenko should be playing. I mean, he's playing late. I ain't gonna lie to you. I will not be watching that game. Kuzmenko. Here we go. And I always stick. And look at that. It's almost plus 200 for 1 apiece. Plus 200. So for me, I always stick to my units. This is what I'm locking in. There we go. 1 point apiece for Andrei Kuzmenko and Lucas Raymond. Now I'm going to go ahead, like I said, this is a long shot ladder. I'm going to go ahead and take his 2+. And then Lucas Raymond, take his 2+. Plus 2,000. Come on. Locking it in. Fantastic. Done with that. And my man Sonny in the chat. I appreciate you, brother. Trying to bring it home is right. Now, for my favorite pair today is what I spoke of when we were going through these right here. I really want to attack some of the teams in vulnerable spots that I saw playing yesterday that are definitely due for a pounding. First and foremost, Boston. They looked terrible. Awful. I mean, they might as well, they just get completely given up. I mean, you've got, your team captain in David Pastrnak. I mean, he was checked out. He had one shot all game. Not even a lot of attempts. I mean, he was just kind of flinging the puck around if you actually cared to watch the game. Just looked terrible. Just completely checked out. My pick for this game, Matthew Barzal. He's been very good this year. They bumped him from line 1 to line 2. Let's see, we got New York Islanders. He's now centering line 2 with Duclair, Palmieri. But my man still plays the power play 1. The groupings, this one's key right here. The rookie Matthew Schaefer has been awesome. And according to the defensive pairings, he's going to see a lot of these guys. Barzal sees a lot of these guys. And he's been really good as well, in his own right especially. They've definitely been the most dynamic offensive pair on their team. And Schaefer's been awesome as a rookie. Fantastic, man. I really like the value here against Korpisalo. Korpisalo is the backup goalie for Boston. Yeah, let's take a look at him. I'm pretty sure we could just... Korpisalo. That's just fine. He's right here. Yeah. Goal saved above expected. He's almost at a -4. And this is just in 4 games. So he's giving up at least 1 per game where you're just like, what are you doing, brother? So yeah. Not been good. Statistically one of the worst. I mean, goodness gracious. This is concerning, and this is concerning, especially out of your main goalie. So, I mean, they're almost similar. Goals allowed above expected. So, I mean, what do you do? I mean, you got a team that just got done playing yesterday in Ottawa, flying all the way back to Boston to face a well-rested New York Islanders team who's really been putting up some goals here. I think you could potentially be due for a slaughter. Typically what you get from back-to-back teams is, since they're the more, ready and conditioned team, they'll start out pretty hot. Just because their bodies are a little more used to the contact, recent contact. So they start out a little bit quicker, but they die quickly. Normally by the end of the second period, if not even before that, they tend to die out pretty fast. So I wouldn't expect, some crazy New York Islanders start, but I would expect this to be potentially an over game. I think that Boston, I mean, they just don't have it, man. I mean, they're in trouble. They're really going to have to, just do more in general, to help out their team. It wouldn't surprise me if you would see like a Zacha trade, a McAvoy trade, or even potentially trade Pastrnak and really look to rebuild, because I mean, this team is completely out of sorts. So I do like them to be attacked, against a guy who's been pretty hot. Now, obviously he didn't get on the board in this game. That's okay. Head-to-head against Boston, this was just, they only played them once last year. I take it back, they played him a few times last year. I believe it was 3, but he was hurt last year at the time. But 1 for 1 ain't bad. Like I said, head-to-head isn't everything, but it just kind of gives you a little glimpse into, okay, how do they rank? And this is it right here, I mean, just look at this. I mean, it's a lot of green in the defensive metrics area allowed. In your goals, assists, points, and shots, they are they are bottom 3 in everything. They give up the most shots, with shots translate to opportunities. They give up 3rd most points, and this is just the center position. Let's look at all. They're the worst. They are the worst. And we're getting a guy, obviously it's a little more juice, but this is just who I like. We're not necessarily looking for, extreme value here, but he went from being your top line guy to now he's your second line guy, and he didn't lose any, value in terms of his ability. You're moving him back on line 2, where the matchups are going to be not nearly as hard, and he's still on power play 1, who still plays empty net situations, and he's also on the penalty kill. So that gives you what? Shorthanded opportunities, which, as you can see, they do give it up a little bit. Even strength, they are the absolute worst, and they give up 3 goals per game. So they give up a goal per game in the power play. Just call it like it is. A goal per game. A few assists and 6 shots. I mean, this is massive right here. Massive. Even strength giving up 3 goals per game. So they're giving up 4 minimum baseline. I mean, this is rough. So really like the value here against a team that had to travel all the way back home against a rested team. Like I say, don't look for them to come out super hot. By the end of the game, I think that it's going to be, 4 to 6 goal range when it's all said and done. And I do like that. And we paired him with Mr. Bedard. I told you we're going to pivot back to the Chicago Blackhawks, who've been playing better at home. Playing against an Ottawa team who came out and they put it on Boston yesterday. Put it on them. They play much worse on the road than they do at home. Home they get to match up their top line of Stützle and Batherson, against whoever they want. And the power play, they did whatever they wanted. They took it to them. They had no fight. Chicago this year, they've got some fight. They're not just going to roll over and let you kill them. Spencer Knight, the better of their goalies for Chicago, is in the net, who has been, he's been insane. Take a look here. Yeah, these guys are. Yeah, look at that. Goal save above expected. Could have swore Spencer was up here. Up here, Chicago. Yeah, goals. Here we go. Goal save above expected. He's got 10 above expected. Shots on goal. His save percentage is nearly 94%. That's ridiculous. Look at this. He's been absurd. Excellent trade that they got him from Florida. Now he's their guy. He is the guy. And when you got him in your net, the thing about Chicago is they do give up some opportunities to the opposition, but when you got a guy like that who's really shutting the door, keeps you in the game, keeps you winning, and statistically, this top line at home has been very good. Bedard's been pretty consistent at home. Obviously, and I'm not worried about last year. Last year they were really trying to figure a lot of things out. This new team here, he's been better. Definitely been better. While he's been kind of spotty, pretty much every other game, I'm willing to take that. This is minus 188. They know you're facing a team, that's coming out to you on the road, back to back against one of the worst goalies in the league in Olmark. I'm backing this. I really am. I really think this line should be probably shorter. Should probably be closer to minus 200 and above. And the only reason it's not is just because, you do get some inconsistent play from Bedard here a little bit. But, it's at home, he's been sharper. And now he gets a team who's tired, traveled a decent little way to get here. So they give up top 5 and just about everything. And they absolutely are not very good on the penalty kill. Shorthanded, they give up some opportunities, a few shots. And even strength, they're giving up a top 10 amount. And this is just 5v5 hockey. So I think there's a lot of potential here. And I'm definitely going to lock this one in, which I did already. The Discord's going to get the receipts here in a little while, but wanted to present it to the stream since there's going to be so many games that were going on today. So that one was already a pair, was Barzal and Bedard. Now, the last thing I want to do is, of course, the main game. Now, this is the one right here, and I'm going to add shots on goal. And I already told Josh that, I absolutely love this play. This right here. Jack Eichel with Mitch Marner and just company in general. I know they're missing Mark Stone, but he's been shooting. I mean, he's been ripping the puck this year. Ripping. I mean, he wasn't anywhere near this volume last year. And, I mean, just look at this. Look how much they give up. Look how much they give up. So they're all hitting their lines in Carolina. I know it's just, shots, this and that. They give up, they are the best shot suppression team in the league. Okay? They are. But they're giving up opportunities. They are. You got Freddie Anderson, who's projected to be in the net. He's not very good. All right, make no mistake about that. He's not very good. And you're missing a lot of your key players in Carolina. You are missing the best defenseman, defensive defenseman in Jacob Slavin. You're missing your then, who was supposed to replace him, number one guy, defenseman, in Keandre Miller. He's now out. Gostisbehere, your best offensive defenseman, is out. I mean, so I would worry less about this. I know this looks scary. It looks scary. But you've got to trust the fact that when you don't have your big dogs in the game to slow down a superstar like Jack Eichel, that's absolutely getting put in. Absolutely getting put in. Jack also plays the penalty kill, and I used to like to make fun of Carolina last year because they, for the life of them, they ripped the most puck in the league, by far. They ripped the most puck. But when they get on the power play, they have the least amount of shot attempts on the power play. They do nothing but pass the puck. It's mind-boggling. I just don't know how they can get away with it. But at this game tonight against a bona fide team in Carolina who definitely has, aspirations to make it to the cup, Jack is going to be shooting. This line right here is light for him. He's going to hit that. This one right here. Now, if I was going to run a stack at home, it's this guy right here. What an unbelievable start for Seth Jarvis. I mean, just look at this. It's gorgeous. Yep, this is appropriate now. The books have caught on. He's minus 218 now. Probably minus 225 by now because we waited so long. That's okay. I mean, just ridiculous. He's been unbelievable. At home, he ain't missed. He's had 2 games at home. He hasn't missed. Against a very good New Jersey team and a better Philadelphia team. I mean, what more can you ask for? And I think Prop Finder, who didn't have Aho in there we go. They finally added him. He's minus 225. Now, he's only minus 225 because he's name brand value. Let's make no mistake about that. He's name brand value. So it's the same thing as if you were going to take McKinnon for a point. It doesn't even matter what the matchup is. You're going to pay the price. So, and this is his price always. I like Jarvis better than I like Aho. He's been more dynamic. He's been more, energetic. He's been around the puck all the time. I mean, he does it all, and I love it. Jackson Blake, I have really liked him a lot. His points are kind of curious too. He's been super involved. Really playing well against tough teams, especially Colorado and Dallas. Say what you want against Dallas, but I mean they're a tough team for sure. VGK, they've been very good. You know, obviously that's what they're playing tonight. You know, they've been very good. Their goaltending has been shockingly good, even though their number one goalie has been out for a while. I don't know how they keep that up, but I do think it's going to be a point of emphasis that Carolina is going to really want to try and attack Akira Schmid. That's the VGK goalie for tonight. He is the backup guy. Technically speaking, he's their number 3 goalie, but I think it's definitely something that worth looking into. Now, what I really like for the stacks is, obviously, you know, I like to take one shot prop per team and then a nice point duo. So, where there's a Jarvis, there's an Aho. They always play together. This guy is fraudulent. Fraudulent. He has been nowhere to be found. He has no purpose other than doing nightly cardio. I mean, look at this clown. Not a single point this year. Not one. Clown. He's going to have to show me not touching him in any aspect. He's been better. They're a big free agent acquisition, the biggest free agent acquisition for this past year. They literally deemed him number 1 free agent available. They signed him. Had a rough start, but it wasn't really that rough of a start. Yeah, he didn't make it on the point stat sheet, but he was ripping. He was absolutely ripping. He was involved. You know, pucks just weren't falling for him. He doesn't play the PK, so, you know, a couple times where, you know, Jarvis and Aho, they poke one free on the penalty kill, you know, put it away. They've already had a couple this year. You know, he's not a part of that, so he's not going to be included in that. But he's been good. He's been a very solid acquisition, been involved. That being said, I will not be taking him for a point tonight. Does he look good? Yeah, I think he looks good. But I got to roll with my guys, man. Aho and Jarvis, I mean, they are like that. I do like this history. I like this history a lot, you know, and this speaks to his opportunities because his line has not changed. You know, he's been on line 2 for a little while now. Now let's take a look here at the Hurricanes. Yep, right wing, plays with Taylor Hall, Stank. Stank's been pretty good too. Let's not forget about him. He's been very good. Now he plays at home. He's been ripping. When he's been home, he loves the home crowd. So I really do like him to rip. Now we got to find our guys. Our guys, man. You know, Jack Eichel. Actually, let's take a look. Who's playing that top line? Brandon Saad and Ivan Barbashev. But to me, the biggest value I think you're going to find is this line 2. This line has been statistically one of the best 5v5 lines in all of hockey. And let's take a look together. No. Yep, it's expected goals. No, we're just going to do offensive lines only. Expected goals. They're 26. Oh, I may stand corrected. They were much better. Yep, here we go. So they dropped to 40th. Still pretty good here in terms of your expected goals percentage. Their goals for. I mean, you got to figure, you know, this line right here. I mean, there's a lot of girth on this line. And this is 5v5 as well, you know, offensive line wise. And, you know, this is why we're taking these two in particular. They've been brilliant together. So it could be one of those situations, and look at this. They've been a really good line too, but they've been the only one scoring, sadly. So nope, it does appear that they have seen a pretty remarkable drop-off, and Carolina doesn't commit an insane amount of penalties. So with that being said, if I had to put my money somewhere, it's probably going to be, yeah, all teams. Probably going to be on Eichel. Just had one against them last game. There was no Stone. Like I said, you're missing all your big guys. You're missing all your big guys. Big thing with that one, it's tough to find him a pair because naturally speaking, you want to take, your big guys, right? You would think, oh, these guys are on the top line, right? So they're going to play power play 1 together. Wrong. They don't. There's no correlation to that. So Jack Eichel, he's the only one on the top line that's also on the top unit. And it's not saying that, these guys wouldn't be able to find the back of the net either. It's Barbashev's the only other one on that line that's on a power play unit. He also plays empty net, but, that's the risk that you potentially take. Is let's say they only score on the power play. And, this power play unit is deadly. Dorofeev has been a sniper. And then you got, when Stone was in, he's been unreal. And Stone's been replaced by Shea Theodore. He's now doing the quarterbacking alongside Eichel. It's a big loss when you don't have Stone. And Stone was playing on the top line with him. And that was a brilliant duo to have it for correlation purposes. But I think what we're going to do, just for the simple fact of, I do love that top line, to really get it going tonight. And, when you take a look at a guy like, Barbashev, he can still get you on the stat sheet because he had 2. So it ain't like he's not involved. So I think that's what we're going to roll with. Okay, now that we're done with this, this is what we're going to do. This is going to be for our same game parlay that we're going to run tonight. And I am not going to tell you how much I'm going to put on this, but units will be deployed. Take that any way you wish. Take a minute, screenshot it, take a look into it. These are the guys, and obviously I need to hit Eichel for a point as well. Now, these are the guys I'm rolling with. This is going to be the same game parlay. Sorry about that. And it gives you like a brief, look at that, 26.89. It's not perfect, but it gives you a pretty accurate depiction of where the odds should be. And I do think that this has a pretty good idea of smacking. And I don't think that you'll have to wait all game for it either. And we're not going to be greedy and take these guys for 2 or this guy for 4 or 5 shots. We're going to take these guys at their baseline, and I think that's it. I think that's what we're going to roll. And the rest of the plays will be dropped for the Discord. If you want that, you are going to have to subscribe. My last Facebook post, as well as a few of my stories that I have on my social media accounts, they do have the link for the Discord community, the VIP lounge attached to them. So if you want to see those plays, you are going to have to subscribe, like I said. We'd love to have you. We're always cutting up and, sharing stuff with each other in there. And it's a very positive spot, where we go to, really look and, just succeed together. And, this is just some of the stuff of what I do every single day. I really try and dive into the metrics of it. We're checking, lines. We're checking, who's in, who's out, goalies, home, away, just stuff like that. But yeah, that's going to do it. I'm going to roll on out of here, and we are going to hope for a great showing from the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. I'm just excited to be there. Appreciate everybody who tuned in, who's going to tune in to take a look at some of the highlights of what we have.